Hello, 7th and 8th graders. We are going to look at lesson 6. We're going to look at the first 2 weeks. We've done this for 2 weeks now, and I didn't make a video last week because I didn't think it was necessary, but this week I'm going to make a video, and we're going to get everything covered that we did in the first 2 weeks. So if you want to make up your work, let me know when you're done, and I will change your grade. It's good. Lesson overview. So we talked about the question of the day, and the question of the day is how can we change the style of text on a web page? And so we're just going to do some simple stuff. It's nothing too intense or too complicated, but you do have to pay attention. Our new vocabulary is CSS, is cascading style sheets, a language used to describe how HTML elements should be styled. And the CSS selector, the part of a CSS rule set that defines which HTML elements the style should be applied to. Here's our new code. So I'm going to stop here. I'm not going to go over this. We will do that as we go through the lesson. I'm going to hit continue. This is a sample website. Just going to show you some of the different things that this person did, how they changed the text up here to make it larger and purple. This one is a little, it has italic to it. This one's red and underlined. Different sizes. This is just a couple of the things that we are going to do in this lesson. Okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to continue. See, the first week it wasn't really a lot of intensive work. And so most kids got good credit for this week because it wasn't much to it. So on this one, we are going to look. Over here are our files. We have index.html. That's the page we're on right now, where we're using our paragraph and our headers and our list. But when we go to style HTML, you can see how they changed the color, how we made the text over here change in here. This is the style where we're going to change the style. I'm going to click finish, move on.
I'm Danny, and I'm a curriculum writer at code.org. In college, I took my interest in sports and combined it with my interest in computer science. And I worked on a robotics team, and we actually competed internationally, so around the world. So I got to travel to Istanbul and Mexico, and I love how it connects to every field and any interest you have. As you've been building your websites, you learned to use HTML to give it structure. We've learned to define headings, lists, paragraphs, and images to make your website start to look the way you want. But usually just giving a website structure isn't enough. You want to give it style to fully bring the content to life. The same website about fitness could have a sleek and simple style or a quirky and eclectic style, and each would feel different to your user. Web developers can control the style of a web page using a language called CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. CSS allows a web developer to define a specific set of style rules to apply to HTML elements on the page. Let's take a look at how to use CSS to create style rules for a simple web page about fitness. First, we'll write the CSS to turn all the paragraph text purple, to indicate that we want to apply a set of rules to all the paragraph elements. We write the name of the tag P, followed by an open, and then a closed curly brace. We refer to the P here as the selector. The selector indicates the type of element the style rule will apply to. Next, we need to indicate what about the paragraphs we'd like to change. In this case, we want to change the color of the paragraph text. This part of the rule is called a property. And color is just one of the many properties we can change about a paragraph. A property is followed by a colon. Finally, we need to specify the value we want for that property. To make the paragraph purple, let's add the word purple after the property. And finally, add a semicolon to indicate the end of the style rule. The CSS that we just wrote is called a rule set because, like the name implies, it's a set of rules to specify a style for the selected element. We can add multiple property value pairs to the same selector to further control the style of our web page's paragraph elements. If we want these paragraphs to be purple and large, we can add the font size property to control the text size. Then specify a number value to set how large the font will be. CSS allows for all sorts of style rules: fonts, positioning, size, and colors. The more style rules you learn, the more you can make your web page tell the story you want.
Okay, very good. We're going to continue. Now, if you did the first week, the first 4 lessons were nothing. You didn't have to do anything. So I'm gonna have to start over on this one. So it says this one, the HTML file uses the style sheet, style.css, to give the page a particular style. The style sheet contains information about what each of the HTML elements should look like. So this is what we're supposed to do in this one. Find the code in the style sheet. Click on the style at CSS down here. That is making the H1 heading blue. Change the code for the color of the H1 heading from red to a different color. So we're coming right down here over with our files. We're going to click on Style CSS, and you can see where it's red. Simple enough. We're just going to backspace those 3 letters, type in another letter, another color, and I'm just going to use a dark green, and we're done. That's it for number 5. Level 5 was pretty straightforward. We just changed the color. We're going to continue on by clicking finish. And again, I have to start over. Okay, so the block code that gives rules for this particular tag is called the rule set. You can make a new rule set by copying the pattern you see in the rule set for the H1 tag. Do this, find the CSS rule set in the style sheet that determines the style for the H1 tag. Use the same pattern. Using the same pattern, write a new CSS rule set that will determine the style for the H3 tag. Add code for a different color for the H3 tags. So I'm going to come down here in my files, go to style.css, and so we look up here and we see the pattern that they use for the H1. So I'm going to go down to line number 5 because it's available to me. I'm going to type H3, and then we're using these squiggly parentheses, and they are up next to your letter P. So if I hold the shift key and touch that, it puts both those parentheses in there. You don't even have to put open and close them. They put them both in there, and you can type in the inside. So we're going to type color, semicolon. We're going to choose our color. I'm just going to choose aqua because it's easy, and it's there, and then I put a semicolon. And that's it. We've changed the color to the heading, H1 heading, and then we added a rule set for the H3s, and that's why you see them turning aqua. Hit finish. Number 7. Okay, so it says you can control other things besides colors by using other properties. Do this. Find the CSS rule set in the style sheet that determines the style for the paragraph tag. Change the text size of the paragraph and the headings. Okay, so we're going to go over here in our files, style .css. So the font size for this one, we are going to make the header H1, we're going to make that 50. And down in the font size, we are going to make that 20. And all you're doing is backspacing the numbers that were in there already, and we're just going to change them to a higher number. Usually when we do this, they automatically you see the changes. Sometimes you do have to hit refresh and save. Alright, I'm going to click finish, and we're going to another video. This is Danny again.
Now we know how to create rule sets in CSS. But where do we put them? And how will our web page know how to apply these rules? All of our CSS rules will live in a file separate from the HTML. We'll refer to this file as the style sheet for the web page. The file name usually ends in .css. Now our style sheet exists, but the web page doesn't know about it yet. We need to add a link element in the HTML file telling it about the style sheet. When the browser goes to load the contents of the web page, it will see that link element for the style sheet and use those style rules to figure out how the page should be displayed. To add a link to the style sheet, we add the link tag. Inside the tag, we specify that the link is to a style sheet and add the name of the CSS file.
Okay. Very nicely done. Now we're going to continue. So this is, I have to reset my version. Okay, so you see the display. Here is your HTML. And so I'm going to read the instructions. Adding a style sheet. This developer has been working on some styles for the page, but has forgotten to add the style sheet, so none of them work. Inside the HTML page, add the code that will link the style sheet to the web page. And they show you what you're looking for. To add the CSS style rules to an HTML page, you need to create a style sheet document. This is the style sheet. Link to your style sheet. The link goes inside your head tag of your HTML file and looks like this. So I'm going to, if you look, she has all of this stuff set up, but it's not changing over here. So all we're going to do here, this is what it's supposed to look. I'm just going to copy and paste it. I mean, you can if you feel the need that you want to type all this, but I'm not going to. Control C, and then I'm going to come down here to the number 4, line number 4, Control V, and then as soon as I put it in there, it communicates with the style sheet, and there are your changes. Okay, we're going to go on to 10. Now we only did 5 of these this week. So debug the font size. So they're telling you what this person did. Someone has submitted a bug report on this web page. Can you fix the bug? So you look, it says what I expected to happen. Paragraph font size to be 24 pixels. What happened? Paragraph font is the default size. Do this. Find and fix the problem that is causing the bugs. And I have to start over. So I'm going to come down here to the style.css, and we have to figure out what's going on here. And the way we did it today, we looked at it, and we looked at H1, and we noticed that there was a dash between font and weight. So we've decided to try this, to put a dash between font and size. And as soon as we did that, it jumped up to 24-point font pix. And I say font because I'm a printer at heart, and it changes immediately. Okay, that's finished. We're finished that one. We're going to go back to the next one, about the author. What we expected to happen. paragraph color is gray. What happened? Paragraph color is black. Find and fix the problem that is causing this bug. Again, I have to restart. Okay, so we are going to go back into style. And what we determined today, we're finding the bug. I'll let you look for a second. But we noticed that they didn't have the parentheses around the rule set. So we're going to go to color. We're going to shift, add the outside parentheses, the squiggly one now. And then we're going to use we're going to close it, and then you can see that the paragraph turned gray. Hit finish. Okay. Tips to go green, letter C. I'm going to remember to do this right away. Okay, what I expected to happen. Heading color is green. What happened instead? Heading color is black. So we're going to go into our style.css. Click on that. The header, what we found today is they have the wrong type of parentheses in there. They have the square ones. So we're going to, I'm going to backspace that out of there. I'm going to shift, put the wiggly one in there, go up to the top, backspace it out, and put that in there. Oops. And you see that sometimes they put both of them in there. So I need to backspace just one of them out of there. And as soon as I do that, it turns green. So you just got to make sure you put the right parentheses in there. The one that has a little point on it. Good deal. Finish. Number D, letter D, number D. That's like the smell the color 9. Okay, start over. Okay, so what I expected to happen. Heading 1 color is blue. Heading 2 color is green. Paragraph font is 12 pixels. What happened instead? Heading 1 color is black. Heading 2 color is black. Paragraph font is default size. So we are going to look in the style sheet, and it all looks correct. See, it is correct. What's missing here is we don't have that link. We don't have that link in here for this CSS style sheet. So what we did today, and you could type it all in there, we went back to lesson number 9. And we're going to copy this link. Copy that link, and we're going to go back. And it's got to be between the head. So we're going to control V. As soon as we put it in there, the H3s turn green, the header turns blue, and the font size shrinks down to 12. So all we did was, it's got to be between the head. See where it says head here? Opening head and then closing head. And then we finish. Then we're going to go back in here. And this is the last one we're going to do today. Here's an opportunity to be creative and customize the heading. Do this. We're going to add a rule set for the heading. So we have our link and we have all our elements here. So we're going to go to Style. And we are going to enter down after that. So we're going to go H1. I'm going to put a parenthesis in there. The squiggly ones. And I'm going to put color. What color is an elephant? Let's say pink. Semicolon. Did I do it right? H1 color. Oop, I put the wrong parentheses in there. There we go. And then we are going to make it, we're going to do more than just that. Going to enter it down. Let's put font dash size semicolon. Let's make it 50 pixels. Put 50 px colon. And that's it. If you notice how big it got, let's see what happens if we put 125. See? But we don't want it that big because then we couldn't see it. I'll do 75. How's that? Okay. Finish it. And then that's all we did today. I don't want you going on. We're going to do that next week. But I hope this helped.